Let's see here. All right, Vestas, I'm about to come to the stage. About to come to the stage. Hold one. Let me come to the stage. Let me come to the stage. Let me come to the stage. Hey, how you doing, Vestas? All right, you already know why we're here. Today is Karmelo's Anthony.
Come to the stage. Let me come to the stage.
This is Karmelo Anthony's day 43. We're going to talk about the appeal process so far. You already know where we're going with that. We also going to talk about the Daniel Erving drowning and why they want to put our melanated bodies in water. Remember, that is a very question going around America. Why are they taking our young melanated bodies to the bodies of water? And I got that information for you, but let me go and take care of the algorithm. On day 43 of Karmelo Sincere Anthony appeal process, we're going to examine the latest legal developments, appellate process, and the questions surrounding of what comes next. Well, I'm just going to build upon that based off the last live. All right. Also, in today's live stream, we're going to continue to discuss Karmelo Anthony. What's next? What's been hearing? It's one thing. Okay, we'll talk about that. And the tragic death of Daniel Erving. And the broader public conversation around the drownings of Black communities, right? We're going to explore all available facts. We're going to ask the difficult questions, and we're going to examine the issues through the lens of law, public policy, and accountability. So there we go, Vestas. Are you ready? If you're ready, go ahead and get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because we stay vested up over here 365 degrees at Tony Talks Vested Up Compelling Sports Edge. All right, let's go ahead. Already got my slides. Here we go. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and pull up my slides. We already know this is the thumbnail. As I said, I'm going to be covering Karmelo Anthony, Daniel Erving, and also I will be revisiting Sandra Bland. Also, you know, there's one particular story that I told you I was going to, not provide commentary on it for spiritual reasons, and I want to be spiritual obedient. However, the information that I'm going to cover regarding our bodies in water is also you're also going to understand why they took Nolan Wales to a body of water. So all of this is for educational purposes only. And depending on your mindset, and I'm talking to the trolls, it will be only for entertainment purposes only. But you know, over here, I don't see none of this as entertainment purposes only. But for the sake of this platform, 99.9999% is going to be educational purposes only. And in the chats, when we in the chats and we're discussing everything, that's where the entertainment and the laughter and the camaraderie is going to come from. So let's keep going. Now, you already know this is the thumbnail for the night. Investors, once again, I'm going to get through all the slides, and then I'm going to go through the comments. So hold your comments till I get to the end of the slides, because I don't want to miss nobody. And I found out last time, hint, hint, it was much easier to go through all of the slides and the discussions and then go into the comments. Now, if you got a hot comment, because it's going to be several different segments, go ahead and drop your comments in there. When I go to the comments, I read from top to bottom. Okay, now let's go ahead and go, because this is very important. All right, you already know this right here is one of my thumbnails. Please go out and see this top thumbnail. This is going to explain why young, Black, intelligent, young, especially Black athletes are being targeted, okay, across America. All right, that video is still out there. Let's see here. Also, you know, we've been talking about this since day one regarding the appeal process. This video is still out here too. Same thumbnail. Number 1, trial court. We already did that. Number 2, the Texas Court of Appeals. Number 3, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. Number 4, federal courts. And number 5, that's Supreme Court. Okay, let's keep going. Now, and just a reminder, this small section here is a reminder. Justine, 5 minutes, the reminder. All right, here we go. Got it from you, Yahoo News. The deal between Karmelo prior legal team and prosecutions limit the team. Now, this is what they're saying. Limited the team to a 10-minute decision to decide if he wants to testify in his own trial. We already discussed this. Plus, character details about the madcap prior allegations of racism and bullying being left out of the trial. In the weeks following Karmelo trial and sentencing, not only has a new legal team stepped up to represent him, but more information about the original trial is being revealed. According to Lee Merritt, a new post-trial judge has been named to preside over the proceedings, which is, we already talked about him in detail, Senior Judge Sid L. Harl. Sound like Carl. Harl will hear the motion to recuse the original trial judge, John Roach, and discuss, fingers crossed, and discuss how post-trial proceedings should proceed. Finger crossed, finger crossed. Now, I don't know, like I said before, I don't know if Judge Harl is going to review the motion of a new trial, but hopefully he does. But if not, we should know that should go to the Texas Court of Appeals. Texas Court of Appeals. As of now, no updates, but you know I'm always watching. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, here's another recap. Now, today is day 43. So that means Karmelo Anthony got 32 days regarding this timeline when a decision will be made. If it doesn't come sooner, we have 32 more days to find out if the motion for a new trial will be granted or denied. So every day, every time you see me, I'm going to have how many days it's been and how many days we got left. And as of right now, we got 32 if my math is right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Do I want to read something like this right here? Hold on. I do want to say this right here. By day 75 after sentencing, the trial court must sign a written order granting or denying the motion. If the court does not rule by 75, the motion is automatically denied by operation of law. In this case right here, I don't see that's happening. After that, the trial court loses jurisdiction to grant a new trial. If that happens, boom, it'll go up to the next higher court. So that's why you continue to see that thumbnail with 1 through 5, okay? Now, if a new trial is granted, the conviction is set aside and the case returns to essentially the same position it was before the original trial. The prosecution can generally retry the case unless another legal principle prevents it. Now, we already know that there's been a motion to remove John Roach. I'm pretty sure it's going to be another special prosecutor will be assigned to handle the new trial. Bill, basically what I'm saying, Bill Whiskey got that allegation against him so strongly. I'm surprised we haven't heard nothing about Bill Whiskey's current status, but he would definitely not prosecute this case again. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, I want to bring this up here because I brought this up in the beginning when I was addressing this case. Now, I want to show you something. Now, if you was here when I started doing this Karmelo Anthony series, you already seen this. This is just a refresher. How long are criminal trials in Texas? Now, as you see, this is a website, planyourdefense.com. I want to show you something. Let me go ahead and drop myself down. All right, here we go. I want to show you something. So when I keep saying that John Roach violated Karmelo Anthony's Sixth Amendment, this is what I'm talking about. I want to show you something. So this is number 4. Number 4. Yep. Let me go to the next one. That was step number 4, phase number 4. Motion to suppress. Listen, based on what we know, and if you didn't know, Mike Howard, we didn't even have to get to this place. Mike Howard could have suppressed all, especially that grainy video. He could have suppressed it, but he didn't. I'm pretty sure even before Mike Howard's affidavit, the first date that he annotated was early May, mid-May of this year. He should have started last year when the fix was in, but hey, I'm gonna leave it like that. He I'm going to say he was a whistleblower, but he could have suppressed a lot of this nonsense a year ago in last June. Okay, but I want you to focus on number 6. I want you to focus on number 6, the trial. A trial gives the judge and jury a chance to look at the evidence of the case and determine whether you are guilty. Here we go. If you are accused of a felony, the trial should begin within 6 months of your arrest or last between 2 months and 1 year. Let me say that again. The trial should begin within 6 months of your arrest and last between 2 months and a year. Now, we already know about Karmelo Anthony case. That situation happened up under the tent. That's what the language is in the affidavit, under the tent, April the 2nd, 2025. So that means at the latest, Karmelo Anthony should have been in a courtroom by October or November of last year. But because we know that John Roach, he wanted 8 additional months to do whatever he wanted to do behind the scenes to set this up like his own finale in terms of being a judge that's going to retire on a high profile case. Let me tell you one thing. These people right here are human just like us. They want to ride out on a white horse or a black horse, and they want to stick their hat in something and they flag in something and say, yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was me. It's their pride and ego. But regarding John Roach, his pride and ego is going to get him behind bars. Trust me. Those same bars that he put Karmelo Anthony in will be the same bars that he will have to kiss day and night and day, once those criminal charges come up against John Roach. You can't tell me this man is not going to skip out on this, but I just wanted to frame this right here. Now, Tony Tugs vested up. Why are you bringing this up? This is why I'm bringing this up here. Now, we always talk about the OJ case. So I want to, listen, I know the trolls got triggered just by the name of OJ. Listen, I wanted to show you in comparison between the Karmelo Anthony case and the OJ Simpson, Karmelo Anthony case and the OJ Simpson case, just for some type of comparison. Let's walk this thing down. Now, the OJ criminal murder trial lasted 252 days. I was in high school when this happened, and I didn't think it lasted this long. So it lasted 8 months and 10 days. Stay with me. I'm about to go somewhere. So you see the jury selection. It took place about 11 weeks before the trial began. Now, in Karmelo Anthony case, it happened, 24 to 48 hours before the trial. Okay. Trial, testimony, and proceedings. It happened 134 court days. Stay with me. Jury deliberation. Jury deliberation. We're talking about a high-profile case with a famous football athlete. Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic that OJ also was a football player? But let's keep on. Let's go. Jury deliberation lasted for 4 hours before returning a not guilty verdict on both murder counts. Let's keep going. It remains one of the longest and the most publicized criminal trials in history. Now, look, if you're comparing it to the Karmelo Anthony case for content purposes, you see what's about. Go ahead and I'm gonna go to the next slide. Now, these are the comparisons between the two cases. The incidents, you see the incidents, you see the trials, you see the jury selection. So the jury selection did take place between June the 1st and June the 3rd. So I was right about a 48-hour period. And then the opening statements happened 24 hours before opening statements. Now, of course, the internet was not an issue back then. So I could probably see why it took 11 weeks between jury selection and opening statements for the OJ trial. But okay, it is what it is. Now go down to trial length. 252 days compared to 9 days. Okay, if you want to consider the jury selection for Karmelo, if you want to consider those days, right? And then the verdict, look at the deliberation. For OJ Simpson, it took 4 hours. Now here, it says same day after closing arguments, guilty, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Okay. Sentencing deliberation about 2 hours and a half. So it took longer. We already know this, just a recap. It took longer to sentence the young man or for someone to determine what his sentencing was going to be. For to be wrongfully convicted, 2 hours and a half. Outcome, not guilty, guilty by murder, 35 year sentence. Okay. Now, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say this. If it took John Roach, now, I'm just saying, if he had to get everything right, I'm going to say that wrong. Why did it take John Roach 14 months? 14 months to find Karmelo Anthony guilty, and it took the jury only 30 minutes. That's just a question. We gonna get to that one day. We're gonna get to that one day, but let's keep going. I just want to show you the comparison. O.J. Simpson trial. Do you see this right here? Look at the dates between O.J. Simpson trial, the incident, and the trial began. That is within that 6-month period, maybe 6 months and a half, but still it was in that 6 months period. I just want to show you. If it happened for O.J., it should happen for everyday defendants such as Karmelo Anthony, but we already know that it was some malicious, it was some rigging and railroading going on behind the scenes even before Mike Howard's first date in the affidavit. But let's keep going. Now, this is just a reminder. For everybody that did not have a chance to go and see the very last live. Why did Mike Howard's affidavit matter? If a defense attorney files a sworn affidavit, which he did on the 5th of July, with the motion of a new trial, which he did because he provided to Karmelo Anthony new legal team, the affidavit typically becomes part of the clerk's record because it's filed with the court. If the court then holds a hearing and Mike Howard testifies under oath, that testimony becomes part of the reporter's record. We have 31 more days. And I think based off the allegations in that affidavit, I don't know if we'll be made public to it. I'm pretty sure maybe hopefully Lee Merritt or somebody will update us on X. But I wouldn't be surprised if they call Mike Howard in, or if they haven't called Mike Howard in, they will call Mike Howard in to discuss his affidavit. But so the appellate judge could review it, the written affidavit in the I know they're going to review that affidavit because it's never happened before in history. The live testimony for the hearing in the reporter's record. And let's see right here. Is something else I want to bring up? I think you want to bring up. Oh, I want to bring this up as in last live. Here we go. When I asked that question, has any other or how many defense attorneys have been whistleblowers in a case after 30 days within the sentencing? I know I read it out, but I wanted you to see it for yourself. There is no national database of published statistic that tracks how many criminal defense attorneys become whistleblowers 30 days after a client sentences. Matter of fact, I did a further search. It's never happened. Neither the American Bar Association or the Department of Justice nor state bar associations publish data in this specific category. But look at this. In practice, it is extremely rare for several reasons. And you see the reasons here. I want to keep going because I'm trying to get to something. Hold on. Now this is going to be very serious and very sensitive information that I'm about to discuss regarding Texas. Now we know why, and we heard about what they call it now, school to prison pipeline. You know, they said that the prison population is getting older and they need younger bodies. Well, Tony Tugs vested up why would Texas want younger people? You remember there's another investor in here whose husband has been incarcerated for over 20 something years or 40 something years for a robbery that he didn't commit for $60. You heard me right. We got investors in here sharing their own testimonies and how the judicial system interfered and wrongly convicted one of their loved ones. There's a investor in here, if she's in here tonight or not, shared. Matter of fact, it's several different investors in here. One case is that their husband was wrongfully convicted, and I think this is the case, have been in prison for between 20 and 40 years for $60 robbery that he didn't commit. Also in Texas. So what's going on in Texas? What's going on in Texas? Texas has a state-run prison manufacturing program and private companies that provide prisons and detention service. Hold on, Tony. Hold on. Why are you going into this? Well, this is why I'm going into this. If you don't remember, I did my research a few weeks ago and I found out that Texas has the highest number of exonerations in any state in America. That means Texas, out of all the other states, they wrongfully convict citizens for fake crimes. So I'm going to tell you why, my opinion, allegedly, on why they wrongfully incarcerate so many citizens, so many U.S. citizens, especially black males. Let's go. And Karmelo Anthony, before, because they didn't know that we was going to be on this case like this, and we still on this case, they need young black bodies. The prison system is a form of slavery. They need those black bodies. Let's go. Texas has both a state-run prison manufacturing program and private companies that provide prison and detention services. Prison-made goods in Texas. Please hold your breath. The main program is Texas Corrections Industries, TCI, a division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Incarcerated workers manufacture or provide office and institutional furniture, clothing, uniform, coats and shoes, mattresses, sheets and pillows, Texas license plates, signs, stickers, and printed material, soap, detergent, janitor services, brooms and laundry detergents, flags, leather goods, gifts and awards, stainless steel products, and park equipment. Hold on, is there another page? Is there another page? Hold one. Or did I cut it off? I got another page. I do have another page. So this is why they want those young black young boys in the prison system. They want they want our young boys to make all these goods, pennies on the dollar. Well, let me go ahead and tell you one thing. We're not losing jobs the way that people think we're losing jobs in America. Those jobs are just being rerouted to the prison system. And if those jobs, all these manufacturing jobs, if they're being rerouted to the prison, right? That means they got to have, quote unquote, employees to make these goods. The prison manufacturing operation, I'm going to call it an operation of wrongfully convicted. It's in the billions of dollars. Oh, America. You have taken jobs from the common, normal American to feed the beasts, the prison systems that need as many bodies behind those bars to make these goods. Let's keep going. I don't want to be too sensitive. I got one more section. Now, let's keep going. TCI says these jobs are intended to provide incarcerated people with work experience and job skills. Well, if that is the case, why do these young people and anybody, once they're released out of jail, they cannot get a job? I think that's also intended on purpose so they can leave the public, get rejected from job applications, and be shipped right back into prison to continue to manufacture these goods. Most products are sold, oh my gosh, most products are sold to government agencies, public schools, universities, hospitals, and other eligible public institutions, not generally through ordinary retail stores. Do y'all see where I'm going? This is Texas now. Companies associated with operating prisons, treatment centers, and immigration detention facilities in Texas have included, you see the names, Management and Training Corporations, MC, MTC, Core Civic, the GEO Group, LaSalle Corrections. However, the situation recently changed. Effectively, September the 1st, 2025, TDJC took over 7 facilities that had previously been privately owned. Oh, really? Okay. The current TDJC unit directory identifies MTC as the remaining private operator within the listed state systems, although other companies may still operate federal immigration detention centers, county facilities, or contract services in Texas. Hold on, y'all. I got a bulletin question I need to answer right now. Hold on. I want to know. I want to know the specific number. How much does Texas make a year? How much does Texas make a year annually in prison manufacturing? Oh my God. Texas operates one of the largest prison industry programs in the United States. Here are some key factors. About $50 to $55 million per year in sales. During the 2022 to 2023, Texas reportedly $105 million in sales. TCI operates 35 factories and provide work assignments for roughly 5,800 incarcerated individuals. It is important to distinguish revenue from profit. The $50 million figure is gross sales revenue, not profit. Well, let's see how much profit is. How much is profit? How much is Texas profit? So according to this source, Texas in profit. There's nearly no concrete answer, but just say it's $100 million in profit that Texas made off of these prison manufacturing jobs. So if you are in Texas, and I keep saying this, midterm election is up next in November. And Texas, I hope you do the right thing by you and your family. That's what I'm going to leave it. As, okay? Texas, I hope you do right by you and your family, because this midterm election in 2026, all of the information, everything that has happened from Karmelo to Daniel Erving and to all of the other crimes that I and nobody else have had time to report on, this should be eye-opening, awakening to all of the Texas residents. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, I did pick up, randomly choose out one of these corporations, the LaSalle Corporations. Now, LaSalle Corrections, is not a prison manufacturing company, so it generally does not make products the way that Texas Correction Industries, God, they even got a name. Instead, LaSalle Corrections is a private correction management company that earns revenue by operating correctional and detention facilities under government contracts. Y'all see, I guess they employ a lot of people here. I want to get to something, but I'll go ahead and read it for everybody that's probably driving. Its services include operating prison and detention centers, security and inmate supervision, food services, commissary operations, laundry services, inmate transportation, healthcare coordination, educational, vocational, and re-entry programs, facility design, constructions, and management. Now, that source that says there's about 5,000 inmates under Texas TCI company. I really think it's more, but that's the source. That's the source. That's the source. Let's keep going. Is this it? All right. All right. Now, what I'm about to go into is very sensitive, okay? Everybody know that the autopsy for Nolan Wells came out today. And you know I love forensics. I love CSI. I just want to show you something that is also going to go in directly into the Daniel Erving case. So, disclaimer, this could be sensitive. If it's sensitive, come back in about 2 to 3 minutes. It's only one slide. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump directly into the Daniel Erving's case, okay? Disclaimer. So if you don't know, this autopsy has been part of mainstream media today. Mainstream media today. Now, I had an issue about it. I don't report on the story, but I had an issue with what I heard because I know it should have took longer for his body. Now, how can I say it? Based off the timeline they gave us, he drowned on the 4th. His body was recovered in 48 hours. The autopsy, the second independent autopsy, said that when they received the body, that it was in advanced decomposition. I said, ain't no way. I said, ain't no way his body should have went from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. in an advanced decomposition state. So you know what I think happened? Before I tell you that, let's read this. Because I framed it like this. How long does it take for a body to decompose under care? Why do I stress under care? Because when they retrieved his body out of that body of water, it was only 2 hours, 2 days that he was missing, right? So this is what I got. Mean under care. If a body is under the care of a funeral home, a medical examiner, meaning refrigerated, a body is typically kept in refrigeration about 36 to 39 degrees. It decomposes very slowly, but it greatly slowly, but it does not completely stop. A body can often remain in a viewable state conditions days to several weeks, depending on a person's condition before death and whether embalming has been performed. Over longer periods, decomposition continues gradually despite refrigeration. Now, why? I'm even having a hard time reading this right here. They let, on purpose, to me, they let his body, excuse my French, they let his body rot on purpose. They let his body rot on purpose to hide the evidence of abuse, torture, and anything else that went before or after the alley in the water. It's so many inconsistencies we don't know. But regarding that body, they let it decompose on purpose to hide the evidence. And the reason why I think they took, or his throat or neck was missing, because that was one of the biggest evidence to show that it was homicide. I think on purpose they removed his neck or throat from however they removed it, to show that, to hide the evidence that he was strangled, drugged, or put up on one of those trees. Rest in peace, Nolan. Rest in peace. But they let his body decompose on purpose to hide the evidence. If everything that I'm hearing is true, if this thing is true, they let his body decompose on purpose. Well, Tony Talks vested up. Show proof. Well, how many days did Daniel Erving go missing? It happened on June the 13th. They found him on, it happened on April the 13th. They found him on April the 17th, 4 days later. Did the family, and I need to look this up, but I doubt it, did the family stress that his body, Daniel Erving's body, was it advanced decomposed? The answer is no. 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 Let me keep going. Let me keep going. The answer is no. The answer is no. The answer is no. Let me keep going. If a body is not refrigerated, look at this now. If a body is not refrigerated or embalmed at normal room temperature, so we're talking about, let's say a 70 room temperature. Early decomposing usually begins within 24 to 72 hours. The rate varies greatly depending on temperature, humidity, body size, cause of death, and other environmental factors. Okay. That's all I'm going to say on it. That's all I'm going to say on it. Now, here we go. Now, this is the gist of what I want to share with the investors. Now, I said this is my theory on why they intentionally drag our young males and females, predominantly our young black males, to bodies of water. Well, come on with it, Tony. Hold on. Let me go ahead and drop myself down. Let me go ahead and drop myself down so you can see everything. Here we go. This is why they are dragging our young men to bodies of water. I don't care if it's a pool. I don't care if it's a lake or ocean. This is why they're dragging our young men, women. I really don't hear about our young ladies as of now. But our young men, this is why they are dragging our young men to water, bodies of water. So I had to word it like this just so ChatGPT don't go crazy. I said a tactical question. See, because when they're looking at us, it is like a form of warfare. So I had to say as a tactical question, what is it about fighting in water that can overpower a strong, dominant male? That is a very interesting question from physics and human performance perspective. Water changes the dynamics of physical struggle in several important ways, which can reduce the advantage that a larger, stronger person would normally have on land. Say what, Tony? Yeah, that's what they're doing. They know they can't beat us on land. So they have to get us in the water to equalize it. Hold on. Here's the main reasons. Reduce traction. In water, you can't plant your feet firmly. Well, let's keep going. Much of a person's power comes from pushing against the ground. Without a stable ground base, it is much harder to generate force. You mean they can't push, they can't punch, they can't get you and body slam you. You know how the boys do. Water resistant the drag. Every movement has to push water out of its way. Larger limbs, this is, think about the black body. Larger limbs and faster movements create more drag, so explosive strength is diminished. You mean to tell me that a larger body in water has less force than somebody of a smaller frame? Yes. Yes. I'm telling you that. This is why they're taking young, black, strong males, even TJ Davis up in, what was that, Detroit or Michigan? Who's going swimming at night? Hold on. And buoyancy. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. It's more to this. It's more to this. Water supports part of a person's body. This reduces the effectiveness of using body weight to pin, drive, or overpower another person. So Nolan, great shape, football athlete in water. All that was gone. Nolan Wells, strong, D1, got a scholarship to a D1. If not, D1 schools was looking at him. Very athletic in the body of water. He had no power. Daniel Erving. What Tony Tongues messed it up. Now, hold on. Daniel Erving was a swim member, right? Yeah. Now, in his case, he had the power. He understood water because he swam on a team. However, if you, first of all, according to Ben Crump, he was fishing in a boat. So that actually puts a different spin on the story, because from what I heard last week, he actually jumped from the railway, but according to Ben Crump, he was in the boat. How he got in the water, I'm not sure. But let's just say either situation, jumping down into the water or in the boat, somehow or another getting knocked into the water or going for a swim after fishing. What Tony talks, how did they get Daniel? Well, Daniel, based off those pictures that we saw, Daniel was still a stronger, wider, bigger, stronger young man compared to Lucas Roper, who we saw on that photo, who looks very, very thin, not muscular at all, and a 17-year-old. So all they had to do, and this is for educational purposes only, get him out there, befriend him in that water. They had already premeditated everything. Daniel didn't see it coming, so the surprise element basically put him in shock. All you had to do is one person get one arm and another person get another arm. And while they held his breath while he was in shock, they went down, or they held him down. Water is the greater equalizer on earth. I hope you understand what I'm saying. The power of water. Let's keep going. Balance becomes unstable. Even a physically strong person can lose balance more easily because the water is constantly moving and swifting. Nolan, Daniel, TJ Davis. Fatigue develops quicker. Fighting in water requires continuous efforts just to stay positioned and breathe. Both people tire much faster than they would do on land, which is why even going one-on-one with us in the water, even if it's one-on-one against our body, our strength, it would be a struggle. This is why they need more than one. This is why they need more than one assailants. When they get us in the water, they can overcome our strength, even our body physique. zero strength. Let's keep going. Breathing becomes a limiting factor if the water is deep enough that a person's face is near or below the surface. The struggle often becomes more about maintaining an airway than generating force. So your body goes into survival mode. If you go under that water, even with Daniel Erving, Lord, I'm trying not to cry, even knowing what he probably recognized what was happening, his body stopped fighting. His body stopped fighting, and breathing became the primary force. Now, if these young men had already planned on doing this to him, they had already practiced breathing underwater for a time like this. Let's keep going. Does size matter? Yes, a larger, stronger person often retains advantages in reach, strength, and mass. However, the advantages is generally reduced compared with a similar confrontation on solid ground because the environment limits how effectively either person can apply force. That's why aquatic environments is often described as an equalizer to some extent. They change the mechanics of movements and reduce the importance of raw strength alone. Being jumped in water is totally different from being jumped on land. Even with 2 assailants or 4 assailants, the exact effort depends on factors such as water depth, current, footing, swimming ability, and position of the people involved. Position of the people involved. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. Now, the only thing I could think about, since you know that I'm a veteran, was the Navy SEALs. Because I know they always training in water. And I'm like, they train, come back in water, survival in water. I want to know why. Here we go. Now, I want you to think about this in terms of these cases. Nolan Wells, Daniel Erving, T.J. Johnson, Sterling Smith, and any other black man or black woman that was found drowned, and the law enforcement says no foul play. Let's keep going. The answer is that Navy SEALs don't train to fight in the water because water makes them stronger, right? They know this. They train because water is one of the most difficult environments into which to operate. Here's the main reason. Water is an equalizer. As we discussed, water reduces many advantages that exist on land. Strength is harder to apply, speed is reduced, balance is compromised, visibility may be poor, breathing becomes a critical concern. A physical dominant person can lose much of their advantage if they cannot establish stable footing and control their breathing. Now, let's focus on the control of breathing. Now, if a Nolan Wells or a Daniel Erving or a TJ Davis, let's say they knew this was coming, they would be able to prepare and take in enough air to hopefully to keep themselves alive. But the element of surprise, what if neither one of these boys was ready for the element, for the attack, for the takeover? They probably didn't even get a second to get a full breath of air before they was taken down. I know this is sensitive, but I'm just trying to tell you why they take our young men to the water. This is why they take us to the water. The black man, the black woman, the black boy, the black girl, our sons and daughters. Water takes away all our power, especially under the attack and the element of surprise. Let's keep going. I'm almost done. Mission begins or end in water. SEAL stands for Sea, Air, Land. Many missions involve swimming long distances, infiltrating from submarines, approaching shorelines, boarding ships. Like I said, I had to play the game in order for Chat GPT to give me this answer. But let's go to number 3. Remember when I talked about the element of stress and the element of surprise? Stress inoculation. Water is an excellent environment for building resistance because it naturally creates stress. Cold temperatures, restricted breathing, fatigue, limited visibility, loss of orientation. SEAL training is designed to teach, operate, to remain calm, and make good decisions under those conditions. Can you imagine for each one of these cases, all of the assailants, they train for this. You get that leg, you get this arm. Now in Nolan Wells' case, it was 4 of them, right? 3 or 4 of them. You get that arm, you get this arm. I get that leg, you get that leg. Element of surprise, stress them out. A person can drown faster when they under stress versus if they get tired. The element of surprise it works against the brain in so many ways. This is how, and this is why they taking them to water. They taking them to water. Let's keep going. Only got 2 more slides. Here we go. Like I said, I had to ask it if I was interested in SEAL training, right? Look at number 5, close quarters control. If 2 people struggle in the water, grappling is different, leverage change, both participants become unstable, the environment itself become hazard. However, that's why in each one of these scenarios, going back to T.J. Davis 5 years ago, it was 5 of them, 4 to 5 of them that allegedly drowned that young man. In Daniel Erving, it was 2 of them. In Nolan Wells, it was 3 to 4. Because like I say, even 1-on-1 in the water, we may get them. But even with 1, I think even with the element of surprise, we still could overtake them. But that's why they have to come to us in gangs. Even on the land, and definitely in a body of water. I'm almost done. All right. What's that? Close quarters. Does water reduce the advantage of a stronger person? We already went over this, but here we go. Generally, yes. A larger, stronger individual still often has advantages, but water changes the physics of movement. Force generation is reduced. You can't punch because there's no stable ground. Water resistant slow movement, buoyancy, alter body mechanics. When Tony talks vested up, if somebody got an arm and somebody got a leg, can he get away? Not really, because we already discussed if the limbs are bigger, if you got more muscle, if you got bigger body mass, it actually works against you in water. It actually works against you in water, which is why these very skinny, frail looking assailants, this is how they can still overtake us, because they got less friction and drag in the water because they're much smaller, they much slimmer compared to our body compositions. I'm almost done. Now, okay, this is the same thing, but I want you to read the bottom. That's one reason why military, law enforcement, water rescue professionals specifically train in aquatic environments. They recognize that skills on land do not automatically transfer to water. So when you hear instructor says water is the equalizer, that doesn't mean everyone suddenly becomes equal. That means the environment changes the dynamic enough that factors like techniques, composition, endurance, and aquatic efficiencies becomes much more important than raw strength alone. Nolan Wells was a football star, but in water, he was weaker than those boys. Even though he kind of looked slim just like them, he had more muscle content, which was more heavier than a lean body. than a lean body. They knew exactly what they was doing. They knew exactly what they was doing. I'm almost done. Almost done. Now, I said in the last live that I was going to randomly select some states to go over regarding the law of self-defense. Now, for tonight, I chose Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, and South Carolina. And Justine, this is 55 minute mark. Now, let's go ahead. Now, let me go right here. Stay back here. The reason why I got ahead of myself a little bit, the reason why I put alligators on this slide right here is because when they get us in that water, you might as well picture them as alligators that is targeting and attacking our body, especially when it's more than one of us. You need to see them as alligators in the water. When it's only one melanated young man or woman in that water surrounded by them, alligators, especially if they have premeditated murder on the mind. They're alligators in the water. Have y'all seen what an alligator does to a lion or even an elephant or even a baby hippo that is more powerful than them? Once the alligator drag them into the water. Even the zoologists tell you the strongest animal in the world is not even no competition against an alligator, because in the water the alligator is the alpha of them all, besides the other course sharks and everything. But you see where I'm going. They drag us in the water. Once they get us in the water, they attack us like alligators. I want to paint the picture as raw as I can so that you can understand Black America. They can't get us on the land, which is why they're attacking us in water. Watch your surroundings. Stay vested up, because they found out that water is the equalizer, especially if it's more than them versus us. That is always one. Please tell your kids anytime that you are outnumbered in terms of anything, be aware, be vigilant, stay safe. Don't go in the water. Don't even go near the water. Even as an adult, don't go near the water. Don't even entertain the water. Don't even entertain the water. Now, let me go into Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, and South Carolina. The laws vary significantly among these states, especially regarding the duty to retreat, castle domain, and stand your ground. Here, side-by-side comparisons. Virginia, stand your ground, not by statute, but recognized through case law. Maryland, you don't have a stand your ground. North Carolina, South Carolina, you have stand your ground. Duty to retreat in Virginia, generally no duty to retreat if the person is without fault. Maryland, generally must retreat outside the home if safe. Possibly. You must retreat. North Carolina, no duty to retreat. South Carolina, no duty to retreat. Castle domain, and I'm explaining to you what castle domain is. In Virginia, yes, through common law, that means you have the right to defend your house. Maryland, yes. North Carolina, yes, extends to home, workplace, and motor vehicles. And motor vehicles in your car. South Carolina, yes, deadly force standard. In Virginia, reasonable belief of imminent death or serious body harm. Fight to live another day. In Maryland, deadly force only if reasonably necessary to prevent imminent danger or serious bodily harm. Retreat requires outside the home when safe. North Carolina, presumption of reasonable fear in qualifying home, workplace, vehicle intrusions. South Carolina, may stand one's ground anywhere lawfully present if faced an imminent threat meeting statutory requirements. Last slide. Oh, my bad. Virginia. Virginia does not have a statutory stand your ground law, but Virginia courts have long recognized that a person who is without fault generally does not have a duty to retreat before using lawful self-defense. The force must be reasonable under the circumstances. For Maryland, Maryland follows a more traditional rule. Outside the home, a person generally has a duty to retreat if they can do so safely before using deadly force. Inside a home, Maryland recognizes a form of the castle domain, so retreat is generally not required there. All right, North Carolina. North Carolina has a broader self-defense statute. It provides no duty to retreat. Castle domain protection for the home, workplace, and motor vehicle. A legal presumption in certain circumstances that a person reasonably fears imminent death or serious bodily harm when confronting an unlawful intruder. South Carolina has a statutory stand your ground law. South Carolina, stand your ground law. A person who is lawfully present generally has no duty to retreat before using force, including deadly force, when the legal requirements are met, such as reasonable belief of imminent death or greatly bodily harm. Okay, biggest difference, most protective of self-defense right, North Carolina and South Carolina. Middle ground is Virginia. Strong common law protections, though not codified as stand your ground statute, and most restrictive for anybody in Maryland. Maryland, because it generally retains a duty to retreat outside the home if it can be done safely. So everybody, protect yourself. Now, what is this castle domain? Here's what castle domain is. A castle domain is a legal principle that says a person has a right to use force, including in some circumstances, deadly force, to defend themselves against an unlawful intruder in their home without first having to retreat. And there you go, Vestas. There you go, Vestas. All right, Vestas. Let's go to the comment. Justine, 1 hour and 2 minutes, 1 hour and 3 minutes, 1 hour and 3 minutes. All right, Vestas. Woo! Let's go get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Hey, how you doing, Free Marco Jackson? How you doing? So everybody, that is all of the slides for tonight in the information. So now I'm going to go to the comments and hey, give me some feedback, okay? Let's see here. Bright evening, Tony and chat. You bring make it makes sense when dealing with current cases like the upcoming one tonight. Amen. We are being sensible, intelligent, passionate in the chat. This is why I keep thumbs up and hype when I view the cut. And thank you so much, Bunny. And all I'm going to say about Nolan is rest in peace. And if a lawful lawsuit with money awarded is a form of justice, so be it. Hold on. Where that? Where is it? Hold on, investors. So be it. Cause no arrest, charges, and convictions may never come against suspects involved. It's too deep, y'all. It's too deep. I pray it will. I pray it will, y'all. I pray it will. Hey, how you doing, STB 1208? But definitely, serious. Rest in peace, Nolan. Rest in peace. We support you, Tony. Continue moving forward with your platform. Good evening, everybody. Hello, Tony and family. How you doing, Angel baby? Angel baby. What's up, Justine? Hello, Tony investors. How you doing, Lady E? Who me? What's up, who me? Good afternoon, Tony in chat. Hey, everybody. What's up, Virgo Princess? How you doing? Hello, everybody, and good evening. Don't forget, 11 years old, Ohio. Angelina Q. Cummins drowned. What? What? "11-year-old baby, female, drowned on July the 1st, 2026, after a white woman, Christian Gary, supposed to have been a friend of the family." Hold on, y'all. What? What in the... Didn't I say in this live, as of now, it's our young black men, as of now, didn't I say even being targeted, but now I see they're getting our baby girls. Oh, my. Courts Childs in Lake Erie. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. 11-year-old disappears while out at Lake Erie. Neighbor. This was a neighbor arrested. This was a neighbor. Toledo, Ohio. Cleveland Browns. This is close to home. Authorities suspended a search for 11-year-old girl days after she disappeared while out on Lake Erie with a neighbor. That neighbor now faces criminal charges. Toledo Fire Chief Friday evening that crews have exhausted all resources in the search for the missing 11-year-old Toledo girl, Angelita K. Cunningham. It comes after the search turned from a rescue mission to a recovery mission early Friday as officials doubted she was found alive. Sheriff Mike Navari said Christian Jerry, 41-year-old of Toledo, is being charged with endangering children in connection with the case. Family members told WTVG that Jerry is a neighbor. Angel was reported to be in Jerry's care Wednesday night. So how did they get to the lake? The two, along with a man later identified as 38-year-old Jonathan Chia, went out for a recreational boat ride with the little girl in Lake Erie. Lucas County Sheriff's Office Captain Bobby Cromack said Chia was found. He was dead too. Chia was found dead in the water Thursday morning. A boater found his body and called 911. The deputy coroner said Chia, which is the 38-year-old man, drowned, but the circumstances and manner of death are still under investigations. Navari said Angel was missing from the boat in Lake Erie less than 15 minutes after the boat left. Oh my gosh. The little girl went missing from the boat 15 minutes after the boat left McKay Marina in Jerusalem Township. It is unclear what occurred on the boat, but the Lucas County Sheriff's Office reported that Jerry swam to shore. She was questioned by authorities on Thursday. The Lucas County Sheriff's Office said it is unclear what information she provided to investigators. The sheriff's officer said Jerry was the girl's babysitter, but Angel's family described her as a neighbor. The boat the three were in was recovered near West Sister Island on Thursday. Y'all look at this right here. Jerry was arrested at home in Toledo at 4 p.m. on July the 3rd. She's being held on a $50,000 bond. Thank you for bringing that to me, okay? I will be following this case also. How you doing, Linda? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Let me get my mind right. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my mind right. Hold on. Let me get my mind right. It got to be something about the money. Let me keep that to myself. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay. What's up, Mahumi? I saw today, August the 19th for recusal and 20 for replacement of judge. Okay. I'll take that. It's definitely earlier than August the 21st. Thank you so much for that, Humi. We need to pray hard for Karmelo's safety in all legal situations. Are in this young man are positive for him. Yes, I agree with you. Life is real. 1-1. Hey, y'all. How you doing, Pamela's Way? Yo, how you doing? Good evening, Miss Tony. Good evening, chat. Free Karmelo. Hey, Teresa, I got through all of the information in less than 1 hour. Hello, Tony, and all blessed, vested up families. Hold on for everybody that's coming into the room. Let me leave you on this slide. The reason why I'll leave you for this. The reason why they're taking our young boys and ladies and children to the water. Let me try to get this out your way so you can read the whole slide. There we go. Hold on. Let me bring this up here. All right. Hey, how you doing, Shirley? Miss Tony and blessed, vested up family. Amen. Amen. Vested up family. Exactly. The disparities when it comes to our young men being incarcerated is at all-time high, even when in the sight of white violent crimes. Yes, Bunny. Texas is an industrial prison juggernaut. I couldn't say that no better. And we already went over those slides. So if you're just coming into the room, I have went over all of the slides. Please start from the beginning, or you can start from the beginning after we go through all the comments. Violent crimes being committed by white males usually goes without severe consequences. Take Dylan Ruth, who killed those black, yes, in South Carolina. But guess what a lot of churches are doing now? Guess what a lot of black churches are doing now? They are getting their permit to carry and have firearms inside of the building, and the doors are locked. So let somebody get a bright idea like Dylan Roof, and the outcome would be different. Who killed those black people in the church? Yet they showed right. Who? Yes, in Texas, and can't wait to vote. Come on with it. How you doing? Hebrew in the scriptures. Come on with it. They never thought Karmelo would have the support that he's had, and he still got the support. Tony, I'm back on tonight's topic. Just so, are you good, Bunny? Even I touched on Nolan. Because now I wanted to share the information regarding about the dangers of water when we're under attack in water. You all good? To Daniel's family. Yes, Teresa. Hey, how you doing, Rachel? 6344. I should like to hear from the first judge, the one who she went into hiding. That's a very good question. She was a Republican judge. She was a sister, a black female, black woman, and her name was Angela Tucker. And she got so many death threats in Collins County, even the FBI had to come down and do an investigation. Now, is that investigation still open or closed? I don't know, but it got so bad. The FBI came down to investigate the threats, and she stepped down. It got so bad. That's what I said. They don't care about a Republican, Democrat. They care about you, what you're gonna do. How can I say it? To, I guess, support white on supremacy, because they definitely don't have any supremacy over us. Definitely not over me. So they're not supreme to me, but in their head, anybody that speaks against white lack of supremacy, they have an issue with it, even if you're a Republican. Even if you're a Republican. It's true, Tony. They're devils. Facts. Facts. How you doing, Brown? It's true. How you doing, Brown and Tito Bell? Sweat equity, black equity. Rachel 6344. Yes, in your words, guilty as charged. They will all have to answer to God Almighty. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Nolan was yeah. He was strangled till he was unalive while repeatedly hit in the head on the floor of the boat. He didn't have a broken skull, but he did have a contusion because the difference from his head to the floor bed. I agree with that. But there's also a reason why they took a section of his throat. I think he also had to be strangled, or a rope was laced around there to do what they did. But there's a reason why they took his throat. But thank you for that information right there. This is why the tissue in the back of his head was red. It was a contusion. They can still detect blood. Right. Blood, it doesn't matter. You can't even get it out with bleach or alcohol. It's still going to show with that fluorescent light and that chemical. They should have sent the whole body to DC. Facts. They are hiding something. I agree with you. Tony, you had mentioned what she said, sports, and I believe she said it fits almost perfectly. Yes, sir. That's my Shador Sanders football sister. Yes, kindred spirits. Think about it. Daniel was invited out, and Karmelo invited under the tent. Were both meant to pass away, yet one dies physically and the other mentally degradation by gold. And yes, Bunny. And as y'all can see, they're inviting our young men on purpose. That means premeditation. Now, that's the definition of premeditation, not the other way around. Voice recorded on his cell phone. He demanding somebody hand on his phone. I did see that, Flo. I did see that. He was wearing a red choker around his neck in the photo of 4 guys, probably while facing one guy. Another came up behind him, grabbed him, the neck choker, the headlock. And guess what? He was a very strong football player, and they lift weights. So I'm pretty sure in or out the water, he was putting up a struggle, and they had to latch on real good until his body just collapsed. Trust me, it's something regarding that neck that's going to show where it was strangled, and probably collapsed. They probably collapsed his esophagus. Meant degradation by trial and jury for Karmelo, physical death for Daniel. Our young men, women have become prey for known predators. We will not be an endangered race. I told you, they're trying to equal the field because of the population rate is going down. They can't produce babies. So in order from stopping our race from continuing to produce babies, they're taking out the young men that has the highest likelihood of continuing the race. 15-pound raccoon can overpower, come on with it. A 15-pound raccoon can overpower a 120-pound inexperienced tick coon hound in the water just by mounting its head. Do y'all remember also in Australia, kangaroos would go in the water on purpose to drown a dog? If you don't know, go out to YouTube after this video. A kangaroo will hop into the water on purpose because it knows if it can get its prey in water, it got it. And dogs drown in Australia. Them kangaroos, they know what they're doing, y'all. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, MZLPLXX. Nolan parents were discouraged from viewing his body because they would have questioned. Yes. Now, I almost said something. I ain't gonna say it. Almost said it. I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna read the comment and keep moving. Would have questioned why his throats, lungs, and stomach were removed. Maybe more organs. They said you can't listen. I said this in Miss Lowdown's video. A young man of Nolan's body type, genes, melanin, easy. Over $1 million. Over $1 million in organ harvesting. Over $1 million plus. Man. Mississippi should have photographed the body upon discovery. Yeah, see. Y'all, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. That's all I ask. Hit the like button because we need everybody in the black community to come watch this video if they don't understand why they're taking our kids, sisters, brothers, mothers, and fathers to the water. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. That is crazy work. That is CSI 101. That's crime scene 101. That's crime scene 101. I can't even say it better. That's crime scene 101. Let me keep going. Marine life temperature of waterways, tides, and currents against the body, key in decomposition, interfere with time of death, cause and manner of death, I think. Right. But do you think that waterways, tides, and currents beat his body so bad, his body arrived in Washington labeled as advanced decomposition? Woo! Who knows? Who knows? But compelling sports edge. I'm of the chosen one to tell all nations it's almost over. And don't forget Ezekiel 35:5. Ezekiel 35:5. I still got it here. Ezekiel 35:5. It went off. Hold on. Ezekiel 35:5. Because you have harbored an ancient hostility and delivered the Israelites over to the sword at the time of their calamity, the time of their punishment reached its complex. Bright night, Tony, get some rest and more rest. For the next day, the sun with the righteous is in the wind. Come on with it. Your works is well noted. Thank you. Oh, I forgot it again. The autopsy lacks its review cause all confusion. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for the confusion. Have a lovely night. Have a lovely night to all the YouTube investors. Thank you so much, and please hit the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. I am coming back tomorrow. I'm not going to skip tomorrow, but I am coming back tomorrow because I'm not coming on Friday because I come on Saturday morning. So I'm coming back tomorrow, okay? Thank you so much, Festus. Due to so many... Ooh. I'm going to leave on that note.